Hey there, welcome to the Puritas Springs Software YouTube channel, where we highlight great time and money-saving computer tips. This is the 77th episode in our FAQ series, and my name is Ernie Larry.
And my name's Larry Housel. And today, we're going to be giving you a tour of Frank 25, our latest and greatest Franklin County probate form software.
Right, and the first thing you're going to notice looking at the screen there is that it looks slightly different.
That's right, Ernie. It's called the ribbon interface, and it replaces the tree view that displayed the forms, if you recall, in the old software along the left side of the screen.
It should look familiar if you've ever used Microsoft products, especially if you've used Word.
And if you've used our Ohio Adoption Forms app, that is the first app that we updated with this new interface, so you've already seen the ribbon in action.
And the big deal here is that we've pulled all the important commands out of those hidden drop-down menus, and we made them more accessible, so you don't have to hunt through the menus anymore.
Yeah, I think it's a much simpler interface, and without that list of forms along the left side of the screen, we now have more room to work on the actual form in front of us.
Okay, then let's start with a quick walkthrough of the ribbon before we dive into completing a few forms.
All right, so first up is the home ribbon, which...
We're looking at it right now.
Yeah, and it's got the usual stuff: open, save, print, exit. You've seen it a million times, so no need to rehash that.
Okay, and you can always find out which ribbon you're on because the tab is in all caps. It's a subtle thing, but it's helpful. Every once in a while when I'm jumping from ribbon to ribbon or screen to screen, I want to know, gee, which one am I on? And if you notice, I'm putting the cursor there. Home is in all capital letters, and if I go to the display menu, display's in all caps. So that's just a subtle little hint of where you're at.
To the left of the home tab is File, which works a lot like what you're used to seeing in Word or on more recent apps. New, open, save, save as. You know the drill, the usual stuff you'd see there dealing with files. And they're all conveniently accessible in one place under File.
Right. In fact, they're accessible in more than one place because they're duplicated on the home ribbon, and that way you don't have to be flipping, oh, where's the save command? Do I have to go back to the... No, you don't have to. The command is repeated in several places. Now, the file ribbon also has a super convenient drop-down list of your most recently opened files.
You can display that list to that drop-down list, but also when you're done with that, go over to the Display tab.
Okay. Done.
And this replaces the tree view in earlier versions. While we love that tree view, like I already mentioned, it took up a lot of screen space. So with smaller displays like a laptop or something like that, you're going to be happy now that you have the full screen to work with on these forms.
And when you're working on a probate file, you'll appreciate that the display ribbon lets you jump to any of about 250 pages of probate forms, including the 4 worksheets: kin, asset, expense, and time. All these things, they're in little groups. Here, I'll pull one down so you can see it. See? Those are all the one-point forms. There's a lot of them, too.
Yeah.
And like that. And the worksheets, I talked about kin, asset, expense. You can all access them from there.
Nice. And with these probate, with the probate software specifically, it's very useful to have access because there's, like you said, so many forms, hundreds of forms actually. So let's look at the Help tab, because this is where you're going to find the video you're watching right now.
That's right. There it is.
And you'll find a PDF of the manual there, and my personal favorite, a link to our AI assistant that'll deal with probate questions and questions about our software.
And this is only an overview right now of the ribbon, and we're going to talk about the AI assistant in a little more detail. But for right now, I think we just wanted to review all the menus.
All right, well, one menu to rule them all.
Exactly, just like in Lord of the Rings.
I didn't make that reference on purpose. I've actually never been able to make it through any of those movies.
Shame on you. They are long.
Yeah, kind of like this intro to the menu we're doing right now.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're hinting at something, but I'm just not sure what.
Well, let's just skip over the options and the window for this video since they're pretty straightforward anyway.
Right.
It's a little more polite than the KISS principle, right?
And that's true because we have plenty more to go over. So let's open up a sample file that I created yesterday. And you'll see that to save time, the general information worksheet is already filled in. I'm going to the File menu, and the recently opened files. I only had one, I guess. This is on a new computer here. There it is, the test file.
Nice. So if you're familiar with how the Puritas software, you know how the worksheet works and how it acts like the foundation for the entire file, right? Because the stuff you put in here is going to populate wherever possible the rest of all of the forms.
And next, after you complete the general information worksheet, you're going to want to go straight to the kin worksheet. To do that, I'm going to go to the, I think I could go to the home or the other, but I'll go to here. Kin worksheet. I'm on the display menu. You can see it's all in caps.
Yeah, that's pretty slick.
I know what I was going to add, Larry. Although you can skip going to the kin worksheet, don't do it, because the names you enter on the kin worksheet are pulled into the other worksheets, like the asset worksheet, so that if you tackle the asset worksheet first, for example, it'll be missing all the beneficiary information that you would have placed in the kin worksheet had you done that one first.
So it's again kind of a foundational piece of all the forms.
Right.
All right, so then we're looking at the party's info. When you're done with that, you just add the button, right? Use the add
Oh,
button.
yeah. You know what, Larry? I got out of that too fast. Hold on a second. There we go. There's it. Yeah, right. And here's all these people that we put in there.
Okay.
And if we wanted to change one, you could just go, if it wasn't Dublin, Ohio, you can go change it like that, and then just go up here and type in a new name. Also, but I think this was your real question, Larry, is that if we want to add one, you just click the add button. We get a blank one at the top. There already at the bottom rather. There already was. I was going to say there already is a blank one in there, and then you could fill it out with the appropriate information. And I'm not going to
go into
go
much more
through
of that,
completing
right?
all the fields, but that's how it
The
goes.
idea. You get the idea. And
Here's another cool thing. There's not enough room to try to cram all these things on the screen. So if you're looking at this and saying, oh, this 1.5 RM certificate, what certificate?
oh, it doesn't show the whole name.
Doesn't show the whole name. There's not enough room. If you right-click on it, there it is. It's
Nice.
1.5 RM certificate of service. That applies for all of these. You can click any of them to find out what the complete name of the form is.
That's one of the benefits of watching this video is you get that extra insider information.
Yeah, there-
Even though it does say right there, right?
Oh, it
right
does.
click.
Yeah, right.
So
That's
somebody
cool.
was at least
Here, I'll
bounce
show you.
around.
I'm going to be, I put the focus there in the name field. I hit tab to the address, tab, 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 tab. I'll go all the way through everything here.
Nice, which is a lot better than using a mouse to click into
But
each.
Larry, I have the coolest secret though here that a lot of people don't know. It really isn't a secret, but I'm making a secret out of it. If you hold the shift key down when you're hitting tab, look at
Back
it.
it
Hey,
up.
it goes backwards.
Back it up.
Because I remember sometime somebody would accidentally tab past the field where they wanted to go.
Yeah.
And then they would hit tab like 300 times to
get
cycle
back
through the
around.
whole thing. Yeah, and get back to that thing when all they had to do was hit shift tab, and there they were.
Nice, important, useful tip there. Useful tip. All right, well, let's look at the if we've covered this pretty much. I think we should move on to the asset worksheet.
Okay, let me close this one.
Same idea, right?
Go to the asset worksheet. Sure.
Oh, look at that.
And this one's, yeah, it's pre-populated. You know, nobody wants to watch us type.
Yeah, right. But
But-
it gives you an idea of what it would look like and what all the entries, how to fill them out.
Right, and the thing here is that there are more fields than there are in the kin worksheet because there's just, yeah, I don't know why there is, but there are. And so this time on the far right, instead of seeing 30 of those check boxes, we've got a dialog here. You click on the set button for send to, and there's all the check boxes right there.
Nice, okay.
Oh, yeah, I was just wondering.
And you've got
I
your-
right-click on that to see if I can get the complete file name, complete form name in, and yep, it gave it to me.
Well, that bodes well, doesn't it?
Yes, I like it when things turn out well.
All right, well, what? Talk to me about categories, because that's an important one. we don't
Oh,
wanna
that is
skip over.
right. I'm glad you asked about that. You see that you've got all of these different forms that you can send to. And in most of the time, that's enough. That's all you've got to do. If you have to send this piece of property to 4 or 5 different forms. You just go here and you click off the 4 or 5 forms that you want to send it to. However, there are certain forms, and it's these. I don't know if there's about 10 of them, I think. These 10 forms, it's not enough to just send it to those forms. The program needs, and the probate court needs to know what kind of property it is. So when we look at Form 4, for example, you click there, and now there's the 3 different types of property that you can send to Form 4. So if you're going to send something to Form 4, it's got to be one of these 3 categories. And if you don't select a category for one of these forms, when you try to leave the asset worksheet, it'll give you an error message. You'll say, hey, you forgot to select a category for this particular form.
And it's nice because you don't have to memorize the categories, right?
That's exactly right, Larry. The categories are not the same for every form. So the program is context sensitive in that regard, and it knows what are the different categories. Because you can get to some like, here we go, final account, Form 13.0 and 13.1, and you've got personal property not sold, proceeds from the sale of, real estate, proceeds from the sale of real estate, income, other receipts. So, yeah, the nice part is you don't have to memorize anything. It's all there.
Very nice. Now let's talk about distributees. I always like saying that word. It's always nice to be a distributee.
Yes.
If you're assigning a piece of property to someone, a distributee,
right.
This dialog lets you select one or more beneficiaries from the kin worksheet. By the way,
I'll show.
That's why we recommend having the kin worksheet filled out.
There it is.
It's already there.
Yeah, these names are all from the kin worksheet. Yes.
Nice.
And also, just to let you know, that works like all the Windows lists actually work, which is if you want something, you can click on it. Now, if I want more than one, and maybe they're not even contiguous, I can click on number 1 and control click, and pick out number 1, number 4, and number 8, or whatever this is. So that's nice. That's control clicking.
All right, well, before we move on, let's hit the personal ID set button. And that's important specifically for Civil Rule 45D, correct?
Correct. That's right. Which is for the protection of confidential information like account numbers, and also anything related to minors. I think like birth dates and things like that. So you'd put that there, and there is a confidential information disclosure form. It's available in the package here, and these 5 fields are the columns or the information that goes to that form.
So don't just put it in the description box straight away. Use the confidential information set.
Right.
Okay.
And the other thing I was going to mention is that we kind of went over these other ones very quickly, but realty, they all have some of them have set buttons like realty. That way you can give it permanent parcel number and all that other stuff. Vehicle, same thing, make, model, year. That's what these other buttons are for, because if we tried to put all of those fields all on the screen at the same time, there just is not enough room. I think we've completed our overview of the ribbon.
Nice.
But, Larry, I was going to ask you, what does the Frank 25 cost?
We'll talk about that in a second.
Really, people want to know, and we don't, you know what, Larry, we don't want to be like those websites that hide the price, or they make you contact sales so you can submit yourself to a sales presentation.
Yeah, and I don't want to mention any names, but there might be some software that does similar stuff to ours that does exactly that.
Right.
They don't tell you how much it is. They tell you how to talk to their sales team.
Yeah, right, because if they told you the price up front, nobody would buy it.
That's right. So they gotta kind of ease you into it, but you don't need to ease into our price, and you don't need to talk to a salesman. You can go right on the website and you can buy it. It's $269.
I was waiting for you to say that number. Okay, well now explain, Larry. Is that a monthly fee or an annual subscription? How does it work?
No, it's not, and that is another very unusual aspect of our software. Is that it's a one-time payment. You're buying the software's yours. It's almost like retro.
Well, that sounds really cool, but what about updates?
They're free for the life of the application.
Larry, what do you mean when you say the life of the app?
Well, What I mean to say is that the app itself is yours and will be updated for free. Now, if some major change happens, like the one that recently happened in Franklin County, and it'll be a charged update.
Well, let me pin you down then and ask you, well, when was the last time Puritas Springs charged for a Franklin County probate form update?
Well, you'd have to look as far back as 2015 to find a charge for Franklin County probate, or any of the probate software for that matter.
OMG, as the young people say. That's 10 years ago.
That's right. That's 10 years of free updates. Unheard of, really.
Well, you know what? I can't name one other, this is seriously, I can't name one other legal or tax software company that does that.
That's because I don't think any do.
Yeah. Well, anyway, to be clear, though, Puritas Springs isn't promising free updates for the next 10 years. We're just saying that that's the way it worked out in the last update. But, hey, actions speak louder than words, so 10 years is 10 years. And we do have a formal upgrade policy statement that's available on our website.
I think a really good example of that is you can go to our website and buy the software. The price is right there, and you can start using it in 10 minutes. These other software companies, sometimes you got to talk to them, and you got to figure it all out.
Right.
Well, let's talk some more about this awesome software at any rate.
Sure.
The expense worksheet.
Well,
it
you
works
know,
just like the other ones, right?
Yeah, right. There isn't going to be that much that we need to say about the expense worksheet. Here, let me get it up on the screen. There we go. And a lot less, it works the same way, really. Everything is the same. You've got your add button to add more, different fields, of course. And there's not as many choices to send things to.
Okay.
And again, though, if you right-click on it, you'll get the complete form name. And then we don't have a box with a lot of forms that require things to be categorized. So you'll see the categories right here. 5.6, there's the categories. 13, I think there's a bunch of categories for 13, yeah. But there's enough that there's actually a scroll bar here to get to so you can see them all. But otherwise, not much is different from the two worksheets that we saw already.
Nice. And so the time worksheet, it's basically the same thing.
More of the same.
All right.
Let's talk about the field colors.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to see if I can get an example. Okay, yeah, this is a good example.
White fields means you have to fill that information in yourself. The software doesn't have it, so
Exactly.
it's asking you to do it.
Yes, and here's an example of white field here. It's a memo field where you can type in a couple sentences or a paragraph or whatever. Then there's the light blue fields, which you see down here. And basically, Frank 25 will try to fill those blue fields out on its own. And usually, probably 99% of the time, it's going to get exactly the way you want it. And there's nothing you'll have to do. But they're blue for a reason. And that reason is that you might want to change it, in which case you will go to the override button. So anyway, okay, but let me go down to a blue field and demonstrate that. I'll click on the override. Wardstone turns red.
Nice.
And I can change it to Wardstone and Company. And it'll remain that way. And if you want to change it back, all you got to do is hit the cancel override, and it'll revert back to what it was supposed to be.
And what about the last color then? These fields are pre-completed, and because of where they are in the form or how they're being used, you can't override them. All right, well, let's wrap this this demonstration up and go to the help button.
I just did.
Last
I
but
knew
not
I knew
least.
where you were going, and I'm there right now.
All right, you want to tell them a little bit about what pops up here?
Sure. This provides access to the manual. Now, I'm not a big manual guy. I prefer the video, which is this, right?
It's like time
And
travel.
It's right. It's probably going to be more informative than the manual. Then the other thing is the favorite. My favorite is the probate assistant. And Larry, you're our AI guy, so take it away.
Oh, that makes me sound really important. The AI guy at Puritas Springs, huh?
Really?
I like that.
I would ask for a raise.
I
On that
definitely need a
basis
business
alone.
card.
There you go. Yeah, right.
AI guy. So, Ernie, I want to talk. You were mentioning the manual, things like that.
Yep.
The AI assistant can help and serve as an interactive manual, because whatever we put under the manual here, we're also going to load into this assistant.
Oh, that's right.
And the assistant is essentially a custom chat GPT that we created specific to probate Frank 25, meaning we loaded in information about filing probate in Franklin County, any Franklin County related probate law, civil procedure information, all that kind of stuff that's related to the actual like nuts and bolts of filing a probate or an estate. And we also have added all the little YouTube videos over time that we've made, taken all that information, put it in there. Some of the other stuff that you've created over the years to help people use it, we put that in there. So it should serve as a one-stop, ask it first before doing anything else.
Should I click on it?
Yeah, let's see it.
Okay, now one thing I want to insert here at this point before we do anything more is that if you're doing this for the first time, don't be buffaloed by the fact that it's going to ask you to sign in or whatever. It doesn't cost any money, and I don't think you have to give it much more than your email address. Just want to give you that warning. And I've already, if you see, you might be wondering, well, then where is it on the screen? Well, I did it months ago when we were demonstrating the adoption program, and evidently it remembers me.
Yeah,
in a good way.
You were saying on another one you clicked on it and it didn't. It came up to the login, like create an account, basically.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I think Chet.
I think it was a different computer I was on too, as a matter of fact.
That could
it was
be
on
why
that
then.
one. Yeah, right.
So OpenAI will let you use a certain amount of chat for free with no account, which is kind of like a demo. And then if you want to do anything a little higher end, like you want use one of these custom GPTs that we created, you have to create an account. But it is free.
Okay.
So let's give it a couple quick questions.
Gosh.
Oh, here it is. I filed a notice of probate on July 4th.
Okay, that's not the one I wanted. I wanted the other one after that, but let's do that one.
If I file a notice of probate on July 4th,
Whoops, hold on.
2025, when is the inventory due?
That is a great question. I mean, you can ask that one practically on, when you're setting up
You're
your
gonna need- yeah, you're
schedule
gonna
or
need to know
whatever. Let's
that.
see what happens. It's searching the knowledge base right
So
now. Oh, look at that.
If you're following along at home, you can probably read on there. It corrects us and points us to the appointment of the fiduciary, which is the date that the time starts ticking at.
Right. That's a pretty subtle little thing there that it did. In other words, my question wasn't the best. I gave it the date that we filed the notice of probate, but it's actually correcting me, and it's saying, well, you're not counting it from there. You're counting it from the date of the appointment of the fiduciary, if I read that right. I think I did. And then it's calculating the correct date. So that's pretty nice. I made a mistake. AI corrected it. There was another good one, though. What documents do I need to open an estate in Franklin County? How do you like that typing? Pretty good. No mistakes. Quick. If anybody wants to hire me out as a type, okay, here we go.
You are good at typing.
Hey, I don't like to brag, but yeah, I am. There it is. That's a pretty decent answer. You know what? There was another question we asked. Well, how do I proceed through a probate? And it gave all the documents you need, what you should file, when you should file it. Really nice stuff.
That's true.
But,
there are practice suggestions built into the knowledge.
So there's the kind of things that you. This is somewhat of what I was talking about. Actually, it's a list of forms that you're going to fill out. And then some documents that you might need, like the original will and any codicils. So it's pretty nice. I can't say enough nice things about this AI thing, and I think it could be a big help in situations where normally you'd have to stop what you're doing, go look up an answer to something. Now you just ask the AI right within the program, and bang, you have your answer.
That's right, and we would love for you guys to try this out and let us know how it works for you, because it's almost like it gets better the more we use it. And if you run into something and it can't answer it, we can tweak that. We've run into that, and we go in there and we update the information, and it gets it right. So enough about this AI stuff. Hopefully people will take advantage of it, but I think we should go where the rubber meets the road with this whole thing.
Sure, yeah. Let's print something out. And I'm going to print out. I'll print out the surviving spouse form. You use that in every darn probate. So I'll just click that box.
The first thing you'll notice is, as Ernie likes to say, it will come up print shop perfect, meaning that we've built the form exactly like it's supposed to look. So it should come out with everything already loaded in there.
Right. And I'm going to click print preview. And let's see, what do we got here? What you were seeing there was the marks that Word will put in when you want to design things. You don't really need it now, and it's distracting. So there, now you're seeing it. This is, I don't know, can you look at the form? Gee whiz. It really is print shop perfect. So that's what it looks like.
Very nice.
And you know what? Real quick, I know we don't have time, we're already over time, but if we wanted to file this with the Franklin County Probate Court, you know what you can do here is you can go File, and you probably will at some point in time, Save As, and I'm going to say this is the Joseph Test Probate.rtf. No, okay, wow, exactly.
That's the default.
Yeah, I know. I'm demonstrating how not to do it. Okay, and now I'm going to demonstrate how to do it. And that is to give it a name, Joseph Test Probate, and I'm going to pull down the file type, and I'm going to select PDF. And then I'm going to save it. Boom. And now we're looking at a PDF. We're not in Word anymore. But the other thing is that on the hard drive is a PDF file that you can upload to the Franklin County Probate Court for purposes of filing a paper. So isn't that cool?
And the nice thing too is you get it in Word first before it's a PDF. So if there is something you want to tweak on it, you can tweak that and then export it as a PDF. So you get that added level of customization you can do to your forms.
Right. Okay, well, hey, we know your time is valuable, so we really want to sincerely thank you for allowing us to share it with you. And we hope this Frank 25 walkthrough gave you the information you were looking for when you clicked on it in the first place.
And we got a lot more where this came from, so if you did find this valuable, click like on our video. We appreciate that, and of course we would want you to subscribe so you can be privy to all our forthcoming gems.
And there will
gems.
be some of those for sure.
No doubt. And any questions or suggestions, or just want to say hi, put it in the comments below. We're always reading them, we're waiting for them. So.
Yep, we're here to help, and we actually read these messages.
Absolutely we do.
Well, anyway, thanks again for choosing Puritas Springs Software. We appreciate your trust.
And until next time, be well, stay organized, and keep those probate forms print shop perfect.